John Kemp, an agricultural consultant, I guess, well known, he said that our crops aren't living up to their genetic potential. And I thought, yeah, that's true. You know, you can really see how much better they do. And most of us just aren't aware that our crops and plants aren't producing near as much as they could, because we have fairly consistent results oftentimes from one season to the next. And and so if we're consistent in how we're managing and doing something, you know, obviously we'll experience better crops, better varieties from one year to the next. But overall, we have fairly consistent results, consistent management or approaches. And so we don't do things differently very often to see kind of really what the potential is out there. I remember a good many years ago, I grew spinach, and the size of the leaves were just consistently, you know, huge, thick, big spaces, that kind of stuff. The ones I grew this year were nice. I saw some of those kind of leaves. I'll show you here. These are not even in any way near the biggest, but these are what I could find here that I hadn't picked before. You know, so like about like that. You can just see the stalks on that. It's just a very heavy, solid leaf on both of these. Now, there's of course over mature. There's no doubt about that. But a weak plant's just not going to produce a leaf like that. You know, the stuff you see in the store, they're harvesting little itsy bitsy things. Increasingly, you see this turn toward like baby spinach and baby carrots, and I think one of the reasons they're turning toward baby vegetables is because they're only vegetables that many of them can produce that aren't bitter or tough, or are the really young ones like baby cucumbers, that kind of stuff. Whereas if you have a really healthy plant, you can produce big vegetation that is oftentimes still not woody or unpalatable, right? So I wanted to show you this spinach back here. This is volunteer spinach, this clump. I don't know how well you can see it. I'll turn the camera on it in a bit. But I wanted to show you the height of this tallest one as it goes to seed. And if I stand here beside it, the hot top of it comes right to here, right to my upper chest area. That is a tall piece of spinach. I've had plenty of spinach go to seed before. I'd say typically it's probably closer to about mid-thigh. So here you've got another 1.5 or almost 2 feet over what's been typical for me. I don't know what your typical spinach results have been, but this is super healthy spinach. And so when you see something like that, you ask why. And I think the reason might be is, and I was doing this for double benefits. This year was the first year I had ducks. I ran them through all the gardens at the end of the season to eat out the cover crops and to fertilize. And I would move the bucket intentionally. And this is about where I had the bucket at one point. So this probably is extra fertile right here. Let's say the bucket was right there, which it's in line with the gate. So it makes sense that it'd be an easy place for me to place the bucket. So we can see the impact. I believe we're seeing the impact of poop in place, right? Didn't have to move it, spread it. They harvested the cover crop. They converted it into manure. Super excited about this concept. I'm sure a lot of people have done it before, but ducks seem ideal. I'm not going to rip your garden to smithereens. They'll leave my permanent cover crops in place. Sure, they might eat the tops off, but at that point, as long as they're leaving the roots in the ground, we're good to go. So I'm going to hone in on these spinach plants a little bit with the camera just so you can see the lushness of these. And but that's what I want you to consider. Consider changing your management style somewhat. Have little experiments every year. Try different varieties. Use little sections of the garden and try something different, something you've heard of, just a different thought, and then kind of note the results. And Gabe Brown, he says if he doesn't have at least, I don't know if it's one or a couple good failures every year, he's not doing enough things differently. And I think, you know, that's great advice for life. Here's a close-up of that spinach. I was talking about just how volunteer spinach, super lush, probably well fertilized by the duck. Can't get a great sense of the height without me in the picture, but down here you have the young carrots at the base. These I'm going to let go to seed, collect the seed. It's one thing I love about Save Seed. You just pile a lot more in because you have so much, you're not worried about the little packet running out on you.